Hello everyone! Welcome to the second part of Do You Think I Gained Weight challenge. Closing it up with some more fluff. Or am I? Yes, I am. No worries. As always, special thanks to my lovely patrons and all of you who subscribe and watch these videos. You're keeping this channel alive and going. Thank you very much. And I hope you will enjoy. Despite what Asahi said, Tanaka didn't expect Ennoshita to get too worried. Considering the time he had spent in hospital unable to move took toll on his body, it might even be a welcome question. Well, hopefully anyway. I can play it cool if I see him getting stressed. Somewhat calmed down by that, he made his way to the kitchen, where his fiancée was preparing bentos for them for tomorrow. Fiancée. It was still a bit strange to say it, but it made his heart flutter nonetheless. He should have gone ahead with the proposal earlier, no matter the situation. But hey, he did now, and they could start to plan the next steps. Overcome by a wave of fondness, he wrapped his arms around Ennoshita's waist from behind and nuzzled into the crook of his neck, earning a tiny surprised squeal. What? Ryu! At least make a sound when you walk behind me. Since when you are so jumpy? I'm not, but you've never walked quietly before and now you suddenly do. It's scary. Tanaka raised his eyebrow and turned Ennoshita in his arms. Why so? Don't tell me you have something to hide from me. How come your first thought is that I'm hiding something? When Tanaka didn't say anything, he sighed and looked away, his cheeks coloring pink. I don't want you to come over me when I'm saying something embarrassing. When you weren't here, I talked to myself a lot. To not feel so lonely all the time. And now I can't get rid of it. Tanaka hugged him tighter, a mix of adoration and sorrow engulfing his heart. Of course, he expected his prolonged absence would push Ennoshita to create some new habits, but this was so sweet and sad at the same time. Tanaka had hard time not to squish his beloved to death. I think that's cute. I mean, what could possibly be embarrassing about what you have to say? He cupped Ennoshita's cheeks and kissed the top of his nose. The light giggle Ennoshita let out, turning his heart into mush. Oh, right. I wanted to ask you something. I walked by a mirror today and it got me thinking. Do you think I gained weight? Tilting his head, Ennoshita gently jabbed into his stomach as if assessing him, and then his face softened with a smile. Yeah, seems like it. That's great. I think you'll soon be on the weight you were before it all went down. Relieved, Tanaka chuckled and leaned in for a proper kiss, glad his prediction was correct. Now all he had to do was to gain his muscle mass back and he could start to plan their wedding. The challenge didn't come at the best time considering the still somewhat fragile state of their relationship and the fact that Yaku was pretty busy packing for his move to Poland. But hopefully it wasn't something that could make the last 2 weeks of them living together a hell anew. I guess it depends on Love's mood. His fiancée seemed a bit more scatterbrained than usual, but Yaku wasn't surprised. He too was fretting around a lot with everything going on, and he didn't even have a stalker on his back. Though he wasn't so sure about that one as of late. Just yesterday, another letter appeared in Lev's bag when he came home from a shoot, scaring both of them equally. The security manager assured them they were safe, but it still made Yaku feel bad about leaving. However, Lev didn't want to hear anything about him staying. Stubborn titan. Mori, do you know where my laptop is? I think I saw it on the coffee table. Yeah, me too, but it's not there. Chills ran down Yaku's spine with the image of someone being in their home without them knowing, but then quickly realized where the issue was. Oh, you know what? I put it on the couch when I was cleaning. Maybe the pillows fell on it? Lev's face brightened with hope as he rushed to the living room, and sure enough, Yaku soon heard his relieved sigh. He smiled and finished packing the smaller bag with non-essentials, but then stopped when he picked up one of his old Nekoma t-shirts. He held it in front of his chest, nostalgia flooding his mind. It would probably tear if I tried to put it on now. Pity. Did you say something? Yaku glanced up, finding Lev standing in the doorway, looking curious and a little confused. Sighing, Yaku folded the t-shirt and looked into the mirror, sensing an opportunity to do the challenge. Do you think I gained weight? Lev frowned and then crossed the room and squeezed Yaku in his arms, making him stutter. Lev? All good? It was just a question, Please don't think about that. Even if you did, it's probably all muscle. You don't have to get insecure about your body. I'm not. I was just wondering. He sighed softly and hugged Lev back, suddenly unable to let go. In just 2 weeks, he would have no one to hug like this again. They would be back to long distance, but this time the distance was much longer than ever before. It's okay. He was unsure who he was trying to calm down, perhaps both of them. But it didn't matter. Lev didn't seem to want to let go either, and so Yaku just relaxed and enjoyed the feeling of having his beloved close, trying to engrave it into his memory for later. Bringing up a challenge suddenly felt strange. Not necessarily because of the challenge itself, but because tension still hung between them despite it already being over a month since their falling out. Though Iwaizumi didn't like calling it that. What happened between them was bad, but they stood strong. They stayed together and worked on making things better. Their history was too long to break them up because of one incident of mistaken identity. At least Iwaizumi hoped so. Hajime? Do you know where my bag went? I don't think it went anywhere since it doesn't have legs, but I'm pretty sure you left it in the bathroom for some reason. Oikawa blinked a few times as if even his mind couldn't comprehend his past actions, and then headed to the bathroom. Oh yeah, it's here. Thanks. No problem. Are you going somewhere? Huh? Oh, no, I just need something from it. Iwaizumi raised his eyebrow and followed after his fiancée, finding him rummaging through the bag's contents until he victoriously pulled out a small package. Oh, thank goodness. I was worried I forgot it somewhere. What's that? Oikawa jumped and squealed, throwing a hurt glare at Iwaizumi. Don't sneak up on me like this. Do I move that quietly? Well, apparently. I almost had a heart attack and you almost spoiled your surprise. Tilting his head, Iwaizumi motioned to the package Oikawa was squeezing, his heart fluttering upon seeing Oikawa's little pout. It was the most familiar sight he knew, one that gave him hope that things were still the same and it could get better eventually. Well, since I already saw it, you can tell me what it is. Oikawa seemed to hesitate for a beat before he handed him the package. Bathroom really isn't the best place to give gifts, don't you think? Who cares? He peeked inside and paused before a soft smile curved his lips. The little bag was full of chocolate pieces from a tiny shop nearby Iwaizumi found recently. He fell in love with the chocolate there immediately, and even though he didn't mention it to Oikawa since it was around the time they weren't on speaking terms, Oikawa managed to find out. I didn't know which flavor you buy, so I took a few. A few, huh? Are you sure you didn't buy out the whole stock? Thank you. Oikawa blushed despite trying to hide it. For nothing. Though if you continue like this, I'll gain even more weight than so far. Frowning, Oikawa measured him with his eyes before closing his hand around the package. Who cares? You're still in top form. Besides, you're exercising again, so even if you did gain some fat, you'll lose it in no time knowing you. Iwaizumi chuckled and helped himself to a few pieces of chocolate, offering Oikawa some too. Fair. Kindaichi was grateful for a more light-hearted challenge. After what Kunimi was through in the last month and the whole heist plan, they both needed some distraction while the case was being dealt with by Kunimi's boss. Of course, there was the ever-so-small chance it could go wrong somehow, but he didn't want to entertain that thought. He spent the whole morning thinking about how to go about the challenge, and now he was pretty sure he came up with a foolproof idea. Hopefully Aki will see it like that too. He slowly wobbled to the bedroom, unable to stop the smile making its way to his face when he spotted his fiancée snoozing contentedly on the bed while hugging a pillow, his face for once free of the fearful lines. He wasn't sleeping, that much was obvious to someone who had spent years by his side, but it still made Kindaichi feel bad for disturbing his rest. As if hearing his thoughts, Kunimi's eyelids fluttered before the doe-like eyes focused on him. Something happened? No, no worries. I just wanted to check on you. A shadow of smile fluttered across Kunimi's face. You didn't have to. You should rest too. Well, I can rest here with you. What do you say? On a barely visible note, Kindaichi leaned the crutches against the night table and then let himself fall on the bed, intentionally aiming half of his body on Kunimi. Careful to not hurt him, of course. Kunimi huffed and groaned, more in annoyance than pain, and smacked Kindaichi's side. You said with me, not on me. Sorry. Get down, you're heavy. Kindaichi hid the content smile and slowly rolled on his side of the bed, trying for the best sad puppy eyes he knew. You think I gained weight? Yeah, don't forget you haven't moved properly since... He froze, looking away abruptly as his gaze fell on the crutches. And your appetite just got bigger. Kindaichi's heart ached hearing his voice crack like this in what was definitely supposed to be teasing. He brushed hair out of Kunimi's face before he caressed his cheek. It's okay now, really. I know I still can't walk properly, but it's getting better. Shaking his head, Kunimi hid his face in Kindaichi's chest and snuggled close, clenching Kindaichi's t-shirt in his hands. He looked so small, so fragile like this, and Kindaichi instinctively squeezed him tight. It's okay. I know, it's just... Stay here for a while, please. I told you I'll rest here with you, for as long as you want. Considering everything going on in their relationship as of lately, Genji was worried about Aone's reaction more than he probably should with a harmless challenge like this. However, Aone's protective nature was not to be underestimated, as he found out several times already in just the last year or so. It's gonna be fine. It's not an injury or anything, so he has no reason to worry, right? Only one way to find out, I guess. He glanced at Aone walking by his side, his heart fluttering when his fiancée caressed the back of his hand. Watch your step. I am, no worries. And even if not, I have you to catch me, no? Grinning, he gently nudged Aone's shoulder, earning a light-hearted eye roll. It was in moments like this when he could truly appreciate having someone like Aone by his side throughout his life. Even better that they moved from being friends to much more, and Kenji sincerely hoped it would stay this way for the rest of his life. It would certainly be beautiful to grow old with the most incredible man he knew. A gentle tug on his hand turned his attention back to Aone, and then to the sweets shop he motioned to. Oh, do you want something? I mean, the stash is almost depleted, so we might as well restock. He paused and bit his lip. Though maybe not. I think I gained weight recently. He waited for a while for Aone's response, but then squealed when Aone suddenly grabbed him by his waist and picked him up from the ground, holding him up for a moment before he led him back on the pavement. You didn't. What? You didn't gain weight. Weak wheeze escaped Kenji's throat. That's your way of checking? Aone nodded as if that was the most normal thing in the world, and Kenji's cheeks flared up. He smacked Aone's shoulder, his heart hammering into his ribs as if he just finished a run. But at the same time, he couldn't say he didn't like being picked up as if he weighed nothing. Another perk of dating a human giant. That and the warmest hugs. Okay, well, at least I know I can get some sweets. Which was your goal with this, wasn't it? Aone smiled at him and kissed his cheek before he held the shop door open for him. Sighing, Kenji shook his head in a loving exasperation and entered, returning the kiss along the way. Fine, but you get something too. I would feel too bad if everything was for me. No one in the chat would probably be shocked if he admitted he was lying. Knowing them, his words didn't convince them in the slightest, but that didn't matter. He had different things to worry about. Anxious, he stepped on the bathroom scale, waiting for the numbers to settle. As expected, the number was higher than about a month ago, but not by much, just about 2 kilos. Still, it was enough to make his stomach sink with dread. Even 2 kilos is enough to be seen. and to impact jumping. Deep down in his soul, he knew he was overreacting. However, how else could he explain the sudden drop in his performance on the court? And more importantly, what else could be the reason for Washio to avoid touching him? With a shaky sigh, he pushed the scale to its place, refusing to look at the numbers any longer, but the image didn't want to leave his mind. Don't be stupid, as if Tatsu is so shallow to be disgusted by a bit of body fat. He's probably just thinking about other things again and didn't notice you going for the hug. 3 times in a row. He shivered and quickly put one of his more baggy t-shirts on, feeling his hands trembling. What if this was about to continue? They just managed to overcome Washio's different approach to physical affection, and now this. He stopped when he spotted Washio in the kitchen, probably making something to eat for himself. Hey, you are home already? Oh, yeah, I just arrived. I didn't want to bother you when you were in the shower. I didn't want to see how much fatter you got. He shook his head to chase the thought away, much to Washio's confusion. Is something of the matter? No, it's fine. No worries. Are you hungry? Somewhat. I bought some sandwiches along the way. He took his plate and, to Konoha's surprise, offered him another one with 2 sandwich pieces as well. They didn't have your favorites, so I took the ham one. Sorry. Hesitating for a bit, Konoha took the plate, staring at it confused. It wasn't a rare thing for Washio to bring him lunch, but this time, after all the avoided contact, why? The silence was apparently too long for Washio as he put his plate down and lifted Konoha's chin. What's wrong? You want me to eat it? Well, preferably yes. You haven't eaten yet, have you? No, but I might gain even more weight like this, so maybe I shouldn't. He didn't finish, the rest of the sentence turning into a confused stutter when Washio cupped his face and gently squeezed his cheeks. What are you talking about? I thought you don't like it. That's why you avoided touching me, right? Washio's face no less than crumbled, and then Konoha found himself squished to his fiancée's broad chest. Tatsu. I wasn't avoiding you, I swear. It wasn't on purpose. I'm sorry. You are still as pretty as ever, no matter what your weight is. Then why did you suddenly pull away so much? Washio let out a deep sigh, and Konoha stilled. If his weight wasn't an issue, then what was? What was going on? You aren't planning on taking the ring back, right? No, of course not. I love you. Nothing changed on that. There's just something I need to deal with, and it's taking my mind away from you. I'm sorry about that. A heap of questions burned on Konoha's tongue, but he knew Washio long enough to know he wouldn't get anything out of him when he didn't want to say. And so he just relaxed into the hug, relieved his worries were just in his head. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I certainly did. I need to start doing more of these quick-paced challenges, like 3,000 characters at most. It's fun, I thoroughly enjoy it, and I like to see that you are too. So next challenge is going to be a little more angsty, because why not? And we had a lot of fluff these days. And also Wombtober is coming up finally, so I hope you are looking forward to it. If you have any requests or ideas, the request form is linked in the video description. See you next time.